Our meeting today is just to brief you on the update as far as we have gone in this issue of 774,000 jobs to be created. As you are very much aware, there was a state selection committee that was formed in all the states. They have done their jobs in order to make sure that they have done a thorough job in all the states. Our team from NDE and that of the Honorable Minister were sent to various states to sit with the State Selection Committee Chair and Vice Chair and the NDE State Coordinator, who happens to be the Secretary of that committee, so that they can look at what they have done. In some states, things are done perfectly. But in few states where we have some gray areas, we have addressed them. That's the reason why we send them out to the field for on the spot assessment. They have sent their various report to us. We have looked at it and we have made some corrections and adjustment. And we are good to go. For the implementation, we have 4 state implementation committee. Then we have 3 local government monitoring committee in each of the local governments. Money has been budgeted for their payment. There is to make sure that, yes, the list that were presented, that they were well documented, and we're also going to use them in terms of identifying the possible intervention or project sites that are to be carried out in each of these 774 local governments. In addition to what is going to be shown to us from the various 8 ministries that we're collaborating with, they have already given us the total number of the workforce on skill they are looking for, and the project sites, finished critical federal government infrastructures that were expected to engage these young men and women so that they can look after them. We have their locations, state by state, local government by local government, up to the ward level. We have those details. Then, issue of how these selected young men and women are going to be registered. We have forms, and these forms have special security features. The same place where INEC ballot papers are printed, the same person that printed these forms for us, the forms are with us. We have them. As we have earlier said, nobody is going to have access to these forms except those that are going to be engaged in this program. The forms are going to be sent from Abuja here to various banks branches in all the 774 local government. By the time the list is submitted to the NDE State Coordinator, he will forward this list to the banks. The banks will look at them, fill in all the details, and they will get across to these beneficiaries with their pictures attached. Anybody who has an account number, it will be stated there. Then the account number will be linked to Special Public Works account. If he doesn't have an account number, they will open an account number there and then for him, free of charge. I know some of you will ask, issue of transporting. Nobody is leaving his unit or his ward. The arrangement we have made with the banks, they will send in their people to have these people registered and fully documented. And the time frame we want to do this is between tomorrow to 11th of September. By then we expected everything to be completed. Once we have done this, we are set to go. So as far as I'm concerned, issue of special public works, we are fully ready. And we believe the set date of October 1st to us is a reality.
Let me reiterate one or two things he said to clarity. He said clearly that there will be an implementation committee, and that is correct. There will be implementation committees at different levels to ensure the proper documentation of those who have been selected. They will work closely with the banks. They will also select the projects to be done, and they will also go ahead and supervise the work. The different works that will be done in the various local governments. In other words, we don't just want to give people money and sit down here in Abuja and assume that those community services are going on everywhere. We don't want to assume that. We are going to have actual people on the ground, a committee, implementation committee, supervising this work. Over the next few days, the DG and myself will put our heads together and we announce these committees across the country. Again, he has talked about the banks. Why we are doing that is that Mr. President has given a clear directive for this program to be totally free from fraud or free of fraud. Everybody will be paid by his bank account and BVN. If you don't have a BVN, so you don't even have, not only bank account, you must have a BVN. So you cannot be paid twice. You can't open an account under two different names. Everybody, biometrics will be taken by the banks and to ensure that you don't have two different accounts. Within the next few weeks, we'll do that. The banks, we are going to conclude with the banks in the next few days, and of course also address the press like this with the banks to ensure that we are transparent, and for the banks to tell Nigerians exactly how they want to go about this in all the local governments in the country. Again, Mr. President also directed that we should use technology to also monitor the process. So apart from these people you see who will be on the ground implementation committees in the different states and local governments and wards, we are also going to set up right here in Abuja, between the DG's office and our office, a website, an interactive website. The interactive website will be such that you have the names of all the implementation committee members there, so people can easily reach them with their phone numbers in the different states to say, who is the one supervising in this particular local government? If you download, you will see his name there and phone number. You can reach him to say, there's a problem here going on. You said, and if in fact the projects that are going to be done in every local government will be uploaded. So the public will be very clear. There will be no hanky-panky, no hide and seek. Every local government can open and see that these are the community service to be done in my local government, and the clear addresses of those jobs to be done. So if you say, for example, we are going to execute certain drainage work along number 3 Kafi Road, let's say Kafi Road in particular local government, everybody knows where that place is. The locals will go there and say, nothing is going on here. And then these NDE people, they have published that something will be done here. Why is this? So they will be very, very free to interact with us, send emails to us, and say, or contact even the local supervisor whose name will be there too, to say, what is going on here? And send me, then we will get in touch with also the local supervisor so that there's a problem in that particular local government. Why is the work not being done? So we don't want even the citizens to shortchange government, because government is also digging deep to look for these resources to pay these people. It's huge at this time for government to make this money available. Thankfully, I think maybe the DG forgot to tell you that the federal government is in the process of releasing these funds, and we're about to begin preparations, including how we'll get the tools across to most of these local governments for them to equip them to be ready for this very all-important assignment. I guess we've covered all areas. There are certain local governments, let me just also clear these challenges we faced in certain areas, because it's important that we do this. We did not authorize any state selection committee to print forms to give to persons, but that does not mean we will nullify what they have done. Those forms they did was only a local arrangement for them to collect names from people. Do you understand me? They're just like local arrangements. Some did not use forms, some use sheets, lists to go around the local government. But the most important thing is to upload those names in the soft copies we give to them. So no matter how you collect the names, it's irrelevant. Whether you collect them by giving out forms or you go around with lists or biro and all, but we have given them spreadsheets to ensure that those names are entered in those special spreadsheets, soft copies. I hope you understand me. Now, it is those soft copies now, 1,000, that will be transmitted to the banks and the implementation committee and the state coordinators of NDE for them to supervise the registration of those people in those banks. The authentic and official forms are the one the DG told you about that have been printed with special security marks. Those forms are going straight to the banks, to the individual banks, and they will now be transmitted because each local government has special serial numbers. So we are not going to do like on serialized ballot boxes, no. Every local government is clearly stated and 1 to 1,000 forms for those local governments. So no local government will shortchange the other in this program. None. Because every local government in this country, all the 774 local government, they have special marks and serial numbers and clearly marked at the top of the form, Etiosa, Uwe, as the case may Warri South, Warri North local government. You cannot carry one form to the other local government, from one local government to the other. So like the DG said, these forms will now go to the banks. The banks will take these different local government forms to their branches in those local governments. And then we will make an announcement in the next few days. So that all those who have been selected, go to your local branches of these banks, register, clearly, so that our forms will not be lost. If you give these forms out to people to go and for people to fill and return them, all of them will not come back. They will tear them. They will fight and tear them, and our forms will go. So we'll make sure that these forms remain in the banks. They go there. When your name appears on the spreadsheets that have been returned by the state coordinators and the chairman to us, if your name appears there, you will now be registered in the bank with your passport and an account number opened. If you have before, they will link it to the SPW accounts and give you, a special account number for this purpose. I hope it's clear. So then the banks will now share that data with us. When they finish registration, the hard copies will come back to us, to the archives of the NDE. And then, of course, the soft copy will go to the Accountant General of the Federation and all for payment. So that's how we intend to go about this. We are ready. We are almost there. And with prayers to Almighty God and your support, we will be inviting you all over the country to see when we begin this work and how much impact it has on Nigerians. Thank you very much.
This special public works is far beyond paying 1,000 young men and women 20,000 naira every month for the period of 3 months. What government is trying to do is to kill 6 birds with one stone. You will all agree with me that even the developed nations, their economy is being driven by microeconomy. Yes. You can imagine what 52 billion will do microeconomically at the local government level, because this is the biggest single employment drive, grassroots community-based job ever carried by any government in the history of this country. So the first bird is the issue of microeconomy, which in turn will affect our macroeconomy. So we're talking of wealth creation and a lot of money in circulation. Then bird number 2. Mr. President categorically stated, we are all very much our issue of insecurity that we are facing. Wherever you have gathering of young men and women that are more than 100, you should engage a preacher within that community to preach to them in their own local language on the importance of living in peace and harmony and self-reliance. Bet number 3, in NDE, under the small-scale enterprises, we have a unit called BBT unit, Basic Business Training Unit. The fact that we are redeploying 3 of our staffs to each local government, they will engage them in what we call BBT training. They will talk to them on the importance of managing their meager resources so that they can add up to their various businesses. If you are a farmer, 60,000 naira, you can use part of it to buy a brand new water pumping machine, which will help you to yield more as far as product is concerned. Then, bet number 4, there is what we call community supervision. We'll talk to them. The reason why these critical federal government infrastructures were situated in your community is because the government recognized your importance. So even after this 3 months period, please look after them. The other one is this. We are not going to allow these young men just to go like that after the 3 months period. We are going to engage most of them as AEWs, agricultural extension workers. And you know, because of the value chain in agriculture, you can start with 10 and end up with 100. Honorable Minister is aware, we have already carried some studies immediately after this is approved. For example, in Karfi, Kano State, there's an area that has tens of thousands of hectares of land. The same thing in Misobochi, the same thing in Gombe, sorry, in Yobe. This tractor assembling plant, there is a vast land attached to it. And Dr. Mbata, who is in charge of REP, Rural Employment Promotion, as a department, he also got the same data for us in other parts of this country. Like in the old states, Oyo, Ondo, Oshun, Ogun, and the rest of them. It involves just 100,000 to hire a land of 1 hectare, from clearing up to plantation and cultivation, and the profit margin is about 125,000 naira, which is good. So we're not just going to let them go just like that, because I know people will ask questions. What of after the 3 months period? We are going to engage most of them as agricultural extension workers. And in fact, that's what brought Gombe State Governor to NDE's headquarters, because he has similar vision. So gentlemen, it's not just paying 60,000 naira to an unemployed Nigerian youth within the period of 3 months just for clearing gutter. There is more to this special public works. And one other thing we forgot to mention, although it will be there in the form, yes, we are very much our brothers and sisters, people living with special needs.
Disability.
Yes, certain degree of disability, you know, because of the nature of the job, is also taken into consideration.
Yes. The whole intention of everybody, all the actors in this program now, both the National Assembly, the executive, and is just to ensure the success of this program. Because at the end of the day, it is our own constituents that will enjoy and benefit from this program. They are ordinary Nigerians that will benefit. There's no Nigerian that is greater than the other Nigerian. I hope you understand. No Nigerian. So it doesn't mean that because a Nigerian is coming from a minister or from the DG, that Nigerian is greater than a Nigerian coming from you. So if anybody says he won't participate and all that, it's the Nigerian. It's those people who say they won't participate. It is not them that will get the money. They are Nigerians, people within their state. So when a state governor says, I will not participate, it does not mean that the people in that state will not benefit. It's a federal government project. All he's saying in that situation is that he will not nominate and recommend certain persons. It's a privilege, not a right. But the people in that state will benefit. But somebody cannot hold the federal government to ransom to say, I will not participate, or you give me so and so numbers. There can be flexibility as we go on here, and there's nothing cast in stone, depending on local circumstances. But like I said, that is not the main aim of this program. The main aim of this program is not about slot or no slot. The main aim of this program is for Nigerians, 1,000 per local government, to get the benefit of a federal government program to alleviate poverty. That's all.
What government intends to achieve as far as this program is concerned is the issue of bringing jobs to teeming unemployed youth, more especially at the grassroots level. At the grassroots level, we are bringing jobs to their doorsteps. And by so doing, you have reduced issue of rural to urban migration. And I believe you can agree with me. Issue of unemployment, poverty If you can take care of the periphery, it is very easy for you to control the center. I tell you what, to you and me, 60,000 naira is nothing. But the fact that we in the NDE, under rural employment promotion, that's where we go to the grassroots. As far as our program of this microeconomic enhancement scheme is, I'm telling you, over 80% of our mothers in the rural areas that are doing businesses, their capital is no more than 5,000 naira, and they survive by it. Somebody selling sopo, somebody selling kunuzaki, somebody selling fried akra, and the rest of them. Think of, and that's the reason why we did not put age limit. We said once you are a Nigerian 18 years and above, because we know our target. We know our target. Let us wait and see. I believe you will definitely give us a positive reporting as far as this program is concerned. Thank you very much.